Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sadashiva Samharambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Namaskara to all. This is your host Soumya. Welcome to yet another session from Indica Moksha on the account of Global Festival of Oneness. This is a month-long festival on Adi Shankaracharya Bhagavadpada, covering various aspects and topics of Advaita Vedanta. Today's topic is Vedanta and Game of Life by Sri L. Ramaswamy. Let me introduce the speaker to you. Sri L. Ramaswamy is a senior disciple of internationally eminent philosopher and spiritual guide Swami Parthasarathi. He graduated in BCom and ICWAI in Chennai and worked with a leading management consultant firm in Chennai for a period of 2 years. Sri Ramaswamy is also a member of Mensa, an international society for higher IQ people. He has devoted over 5 years of intense study and research on Vedanta philosophy under the guidance of Swami Parthasarathi at Vedanta Academy near Pune. During the last 2 years of his study, he also actively engaged in promoting the knowledge at various cities in India and abroad. Presently stationed in the city of Kolkata, India, as a senior alumni and research scholar of Vedanta Academy since February 2002. Sri Ramaswamy has engaged himself to full-time propagation of knowledge through study classes and discussion groups on Vedanta. He is also the chief events coordinator for Vedanta activities in Kolkata. He has addressed variegated audience in India and abroad on practical techniques and application of self-management principles based on Vedanta. With that introduction, over to you, Ramaswamy.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavadpada Shankaram Lokasankaram Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. On the auspicious occasion of Shankara Jayanti, we bow down in reverence to probably the greatest soul that has walked in human form in the Kali Yuga as avatara of none other than the great Lord Dakshinamurti himself. Now, what is striking about all our Acharyas, definitely including Adi Shankaracharya, is that no doubt they are embodiment of the self, the knowledge of the self, which expresses itself as extreme compassion towards the people and with a razor sharp intellect, thinking and overflowing devotion, they have as though descended upon earth to only uplift us. Another striking feature we see almost in all acharyas is that even at the physical level, they have done tremendous work. They might have lived a very short life, as in the case of Adi Shankaracharya, or acharyas of even other traditions like the great Ramanujacharya. He lived a very long life and did tremendous work and service in temples and everywhere, whatever he did. The great Madhvacharya, he himself is considered as the avatara or amsha of Vayu. Lord Hanuman himself has come again. And even now, if you see the Swami, present Swami of the Pejawar Mutt, phenomenal physical strength he displays. Adi Shankaracharya himself, within a short span of 32 years, where he commenced the active work of spreading this knowledge all over India and uniting everything under the umbrella of Advaita Vedanta, How many times he has crisscrossed the entire nation? It is unimaginable. Maybe by walk or just by bullock cart only he must have traveled. But from east to west and north to south, what is the area that he has not covered? And the physical karma that he has done in establishing the mutts, that stand till date and carry on the legacy in an unbroken chain. So we see that apart from, no doubt about their compassion and their services of jnana and bhakti, we see a tremendous impact of them even at their physical level. They may look frail, but their what to say, their stamina, their strength is phenomenal. Chandrasekhara Bharati Swamiji of Sringeri Mutt, Chandrasekharendra Saraswati of Kanchi Mutt, who was a Mahaswami who lived 100 years, they are all living examples of this phenomenal physical ability also, even in the modern era. Right in front of our eyes, they have shown it. The practical Vedanta we attribute mainly from Swami Vivekananda. Thanks to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda took it to the West, and there was a revival of Vedanta in a great way after him. Swami Vivekananda emphasized a lot on physical strength and stamina. He said a strong mind can grow only in a strong body. Swami Ramatirtha, his contemporary, much unknown even in spiritual circles, he used to conquer peak after peaks in the Himalayas with just a loincloth around him. So we see phenomenal physical strengths also being displayed, and we know that this body and its discipline is an extension of mind only. Once the mind is under control, once the emotions are channelized properly with a strong intellect, body automatically follows, and that is the law of cause and effect, as the subtle controls and guides the gross. Subtle is the mind and the gross is the body. And yet we can say, if you put the order in reverse, we are not saying that the body will control the mind. No, not at all. But if we are able to attend to the body to some extent that you make it conducive for your spiritual growth, it is very good. I can think of a present example is our own teacher, our Swamiji, Swami Parthasarathi, who is turning 98 in a fortnight, that is June 8th. He finishes 97 and he is turning 98. He has played cricket with us till the age of 92. He has driven the car even after the COVID restrictions were lifted to that extent, even after his hip surgery, maybe just to prove a point to the doctor only. So we see that there is something that is connected to physical well-being, and it has a role to play in spirituality. The Upanishads prayers itself wish for a long life, a long and a healthy life. Sthirai rangai stushtavagum sastunubihi veshema devahitam yadayu. May our limbs wax strong, may all our limbs be all right, so that we are able to properly dedicate ourselves in your pursuit. It's the prayer in the Upanishad. So, therefore, there are two factors that is essential for any achievement. One is called as the causative factor, another is called as the conducive factor. Causative factor is the direct cause. See, suppose if you take a growth of a tree, the seed is the direct cause. Seed is the cause and tree is the effect. So if you want a mango tree, you plant a mango seed, a healthy seed will produce a healthy tree. That is the direct cause. But this healthy mango seed cannot be planted in any soil. You cannot plant it in Rajasthan's deserts. It has to be in maybe a Ratnagiri soil or Malda in West Bengal, somewhere it will grow nicely. So soil, sunlight, rain, these are all, you can say, conducive factors. Soil is not directly producing mango. Soil or rain is not directly producing a mango. What is producing a mango in a mango tree is the seed only. Seed is the direct cause, but that seed needs a conducive atmosphere. Exactly like that. What helps us evolve in our spiritual progress is the knowledge of the self. Your intellect has to become strong with that knowledge. It has to control and guide the emotions and keep itself fixated on the thought of the self. The highest Upanishad statements like Tattvamasi and Aham Brahmasmi, this is what you need to get established, contemplate upon. If knowledge is the direct factor here, like Atma Bodha says, like fire to cooking, knowledge of the self is to liberation. That is the direct cause. But for this knowledge, for us to gain, we can say a healthy body is a conducive factor. So, there is a difference between what is known as body consciousness and health consciousness. What is a healthy body? How can we define a healthy body? Can we have a universal index to say this is the healthy body, this must be the weight or this must be the height? We cannot say like that. The whole purpose of Vedanta is to take our focus or attention away from the body and peg it on the self. That I am not the body, I am the self is the ultimate knowledge of Vedanta. And that is what it wants us to get established in. In that process, if you want to maintain the body properly like a vehicle, like a temple that houses the God, this body houses the Atma, therefore I need to maintain this body like a temple. If you have that thought, you must do it to such an extent that it is necessary. So how do we make sure that we do not become overtly body conscious, but we are generally health conscious, so that a Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadha. To do dharmic activities and to pursue the knowledge of the self, we are maintaining the body to that extent, just as you would maintain a car. Because wherever and whenever you want to travel, the car must be ready for you. The difference, or how do we arrive at what is a good body, healthy body? The test is this. Suppose now you are sitting in a place. If I ask you suddenly, are you thinking of your heart now? Why are you suddenly asking? I am not thinking of my heart. Why are you not thinking of the heart? Why should I think? I mean, there is no issues. It's running properly. My thought never goes to heart. Are you thinking of your kidney? No, I'm not thinking of the kidney. Kidney is functioning all right. That's why. But if suppose there is some backache or a pain or something like that, even as you are sitting and trying to concentrate on the talk here, your thought is pulled towards that backache. So therefore, we are reminded of our back when it is not all right. We are reminded of our heart when it is not functioning properly, because pain will be there, something will be there. We are reminded of our kidney when there is a problem in the kidney. Suddenly your attention goes to the knee, means there's some knee pain or something that you need to attend to that. So knee problem is there. So the test is this. If your part of the body is working fine and it is in a healthy condition, you tend to forget it. So a healthy body, the indication is that we can say you tend to forget the entire body. That is a healthy body. It is not the question of whether a little bit fat is here or a little bit weight is there or less weight is there. That cannot be an indication. In that process, we will become more body conscious in trying to get away from the body. That is not the purpose. The purpose is only to realize the self or gain self-knowledge, for which use the body as the vehicle. In this process, the contract with the body, we can say, is like something like this, that the body says, you take care of me for just half an hour in a day, and I'll take care of you for the rest of the 23.5 hours. It is like that. In the good old days, maybe the lifestyle was in such a way that physical activities and everything was part of the daily routine. But now with press button comforts and various other facilities and amenities, we need to properly invest time for our physical exercises. So yoga, pranayama, walking, maybe some people will prefer gym, aerobics, whatever. In whatever way, you need to allocate time to maintain your body in a sufficient, proper way that it helps you achieve whatever goal you want to achieve. Now, even as we get inspired by yoga and various other traditional techniques of maintaining the body, if you are there in a group and doing it is easier. To do it all by yourself to maintain that inspiration is rather difficult. That's why many people, even who go for morning walk, they want a partner. And then more of talking happens than walking. Actually, you go to some place and they sit in a place and talk. That doesn't serve the purpose also. But without a group, without friends, we feel not that motivated. Even if there's a slight excuse, we would like to skip it. And this is where sports comes in. I'm just sharing a screen. This is where the utility of sports comes in. What is the utility of sports in spirituality? As we said, first and foremost thing, like we are talking about outdoor sports here. We see the memes and other cartoons that we get in WhatsApp that, they say in 1980s, the mother is trying to pull the child from outside the playground inside the house. It is dark and she says, enough of play, now come inside. And the 2010-2020 kids, the mother is pushing, enough of your video games and the mobile phone games, please go out and play. That the tables have changed within one generation now. So if you want to have first physical fitness, as I said, yoga, jogging, this is maybe very good and that's the best where you can do by yourself. But if you feel not that much motivated to do all by yourself, then sports is an interesting way by which it will entertain you, keep you entertained also. It is very interesting whether you play badminton or cricket or hockey, football, volleyball, any sport for that matter. And then it automatically maintains the body. So you sweat it out. You play and sweat out the fat or whatever. And then you automatically feel good. So a physical fitness is automatically maintained in sports. That is the basic purpose, you can say. One of the basic purposes of sports. Second is, sports teaches us what is teamwork. The spirit of yajna is interpreted even in Bhagavad Gita as a cooperative endeavor or a teamwork. It is very essential, not just in corporate, not just in politics, not just in sports. It is there essential for in our day-to-day life, even in our homes. Definitely in our offices. Nothing can be done all by yourself. You need to work in a team, bend your ego and perform something for a common cause. And various sports are team sports, whether it is cricket, hockey or football. But there are certain individual sports, let's say tennis, chess, gymnastics. These are individual sports. Yet, if you analyze, there are team championship even in individual sports. Why? Davis Cup. Davis Cup is played between two countries in tennis. Leander Paes, he says, whenever he represents India in Davis Cup, his performance is a notch higher than when he will play by himself, maybe in Wimbledon or any other tournament. Golf is a game which a person plays all by himself, right? Ryder Cup is there where there is a team of players from USA and team of players from Europe. They fight it out. It's a team. Gymnastics has team gold medal in Olympics. Even chess has Olympiad team. Why? Even as you are pursuing excellence in individual sport, you feel part of a team, and that is helping you achieve a larger cause. So the moment a sportsman is trained this way to work for a team, to bend his own personal ego and not care for personal glories, but for the team's cause, the same attitude may get reflected in his life also. I am not saying that by playing sport one is going to realize the self or gain Vedantic knowledge. No, as I said, these are all only, it will give you a taste of it. To some extent, if you are trained in it for some time, you will start feeling and you will start experiencing it. So sports definitely teaches teamwork, and team sports are directly that. Whether it is Pele, who scored the highest number of goals as a footballer, he said, if others whose names are not there in the score sheet, if they had not passed the ball to me, how could I have scored the goals? But it is Pele's name that is there as the top goal scorer or something like that. But he understands the importance of teamwork. Next, this is very critical also. The spirit of a sportsman. You are able to be somewhat equanimous in victory and defeat, which, let us say, we don't immediately see as the people enter the sports arena. Because we saw in 2009, when Federer was at his peak, even that time, he lost the Australian Open final to Rafael Nadal. And he couldn't control himself. He cried a lot in the presentation ceremony. And finally, he was magnanimous enough to take the mic first, congratulate Nadal, and then Nadal took the cup. But if you see the same Federer over 2015-16, there also he lost some critical games in a very, very small margin, where from a winning position he lost also. But the maturity you can see. So over a period of time, you understand it is inevitable that victory and defeat will come. In fact, you will be able to even taste victory better only if you have tasted defeat. A man knows the value of shade only if he has seen the hot sun. It's like that. It's very hard. Even various, there now IPL is going on. People are very much invested in their own franchisee team, more than how people have invested their money in it, the owners and other things. So even if, let us say, the Chennai Super Kings has failed to make it to the playoff stage, it's very difficult to take for that fan. What about Bangalore, which is having all stalwarts, but various years have passed and they have not yet won the cup, and yet the fans are very, very eager that RCB should win. How about the players themselves? But over a period of time, some level of maturity can come. So it comes from life's experiences also, but sports gives a direct taste of this. You are well prepared, but at that critical moment, whatever will happen, it will happen. And if the opponent is stronger that day, hard luck. Or rather, if you are well prepared, good luck. So victory and defeat are going to come, but you are equanimous in it. And not only that, you understand it is just a game. Ultimately, what you do, you shake hands. Well played. That is the spirit of a sportsman. Lastly, sports helps us to experience what it is to rise above body consciousness and pain. What does Vedanta say ultimately? You are not the body. You are the Atma. You are the self. I am not the body. I am the self. This process of negation and assertion is the essence of Jnana Yoga. Now, it is very easy for us to say it as words, but it remains as words only. If a mosquito comes and sits on my body, then I will know how much I am not the body or the self. It is impossible. Stalwarts have spent their lifetime to disassociate themselves from the body. But having read certain books or attended certain classes, we may repeat this: I am not the body, I am the self. But how much do we really feel it? How much really it comes into our experience? Here is an opportunity that sports gives, that for a moment at least you can experience that you are not the body. We have seen very many sports person, and that is the spirit of a sports person, a fighter, a warrior spirit he has. Even if he is injured, we saw in West Indies, I think in 2005-6, some series, Kumble got his jaw broken. He quickly went off the field, put a bandage, came and completed the match bowling, even though he was in excruciating pain. How is it that you are able to rise above the pain even at that point of time? It is that interest and that spirit that I need to perform in the game. So sports gives you that enthusiasm by which you are able to rise even if there is a body pain. A child is there and the mother is asking the child to go to the shop to get something. No, I am having fever. Various excuses he gives. But then his friend comes and calls, come, let's play cricket. He immediately jumps up. What happened to cricket? What happened to his other body ache or something? He is able to rise above it. We ourselves can, I would have seen there will be little, you get hurt, blood will be there, but you will tend to, you will attend to that after the game is over. Why? Now the game is very important and you are fully involved in it and you are very inspired to play. Now, if the same principle that you experience in a playground is applied in our daily life, what a great thing it will be. That I am really not the body. However much I preserve it with all the modern facilities, techniques and good food and everything that is available, it has to follow a natural process of disease, growth, disease and decay and death ultimately. I cannot resist it. However much I try, I may a little bit postpone it. That's about all. Therefore, when I am healthy, I need to, that time itself, invest my time in trying to raise my level of consciousness to something else above the body. For which, as I said, sports gives an opportunity. That's why sportsman's mentality is a little different in that sense. Now, of all sports, cricket has a very unique place, at least definitely in India. In India, cricket is a religion. When about a decade or two back, Sachin Tendulkar was the god. Now I don't know, it may be Virat Kohli, later it can be somebody else. Cricket is the religion in India and Tendulkar is the god. What unites India? Is it the Hinduism? Is it Advaita Vedanta? Is it the Sanskrit language? Is it our festivals and culture? More than that, it's cricket. Everybody rises above religion and caste and community and everything, and they have a lot of emotional connection with cricket. To a point of fault, I would say, to the point of fault that other sports are not given that much focus or importance. Now, maybe that's changing with Kabaddi League and various other, help commercially also. But why so? Every sport has its own beauty. Football is the most universal sport and it's called as the beautiful game. Yes, it is indeed very beautiful. Chess is our favorite, but it involves a lot of stamina to sit through for 6-hour games. That is its greatness. One mistake and to retrieve, it's very difficult. And what is the beauty of cricket? Even the usage, they say it's a gentleman's game. It is supposed to be a gentleman's game. In English language, they use the term that's not cricket. That's not cricket means that's not right. That's not proper. In that sense, they use the term, that's not cricket. And it is like golf also. Golf is said to be a very yogic game. You are supposed to mark your own how much strokes you took to put the ball in. So it is expected of you that you maintain a certain level of integrity in the game. So in the olden days, even in cricket, if a fielder says that he has taken the catch, the batsman walks off. Now, why is so? If you are able to analyze every expression of the world is in the form of the gunas, which is the sattva, rajas, and tamas gunas, that applies in the sports also. So where will you, let's say, place a rugby, football, and a football and hockey? It's a short-lived game for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and there is a lot of movement, lot of passion. There is no time to sit and think, etc. It falls probably under the rajasic category, and yet it has its own beauty. On the other hand, tennis has more pause in between the games, and Test cricket falls in the category more than, because that is why probably America may not take to Test cricket. They need quick results and they want quickly to finish. How can a person, even to watch Test cricket for 5 days, it requires a lot of strength and objectivity. Nowadays, we don't have that much patience also. One-day cricket itself is now long. T20 cricket. And that is how it has come down to. But think about this Test cricket. I am talking about people watching there. Think about a player who is standing in some third man, ball never comes to him. A batsman keeps on leaving the ball, beautiful ball, and the commentator is commenting, what is the boring? It will be very boring if you don't understand the beauty of the game. Next batsman is ready and he is sitting in the pavilion to come. He is still part of the game. How difficult it is. When a person will be out and when you will walk, you don't know, but you are ready for it. It requires a lot of patience, a lot of objectivity. That's why it tests your temperament in every way. It is called Test cricket. It tests your physical strength, it tests your mental strength, and over 5 days after you play, there may not be any result also. Draw. It can be like that. You have to keep on bowling, you have to keep on batting. I mean, it's a very, very difficult. That's why George Bernard Shaw once said that 11 fools are playing and 11,000 fools are watching it. That sort of idea is conveyed. Unlike football, you see that ball is traveling every time. It's so much excitement. 1.5 hours, it's over. As I said, every game has its own beauty. Now we see that there is a lot of parallel between cricket and our lives. And this is where we are going to play some Vedanta cricket. The original thought for this, the original credit should go to a great Pauranika by the name of Jayarama Sharma. He is no more. Maybe couple of he lived a long life and served the cause of Narayaniyam and Bhagavatam and various Puranas and Ramayana and Vedantic thoughts in Tamil, in Malayalam, in everywhere. He spread it all over India. And 80s is the time when cricket was getting popular because India won the World Cup and television started relaying matches and cricket became popular, you can say much popular in 1980s. So that time he came up with a concept of this Vedanta cricket, and this is based on that and maybe a little extension of that. We see a lot of parallels here. Now, cricket is a batsman-centric game, though it is a team game. The batsman comes into bat and the entire forces are there trying to get him out, the opposition. And yet he has to survive, he has to get his eye in, he has to score runs. And then there's a field, there are 10 fielders, then there is an umpire, there is a stumps, there is crease, all these things are there. There's a boundary. All this is exactly parallel of how we should play our game in the field of this world, the life itself. Exactly the way, probably if cricket was there in the Upanishad, maybe they would have given this example. Let us see the parallels, life and cricket. What is this field? This field is the world. The cricket field is the world in which we are playing. Right. Now, a batsman is called as a batsman because he carries the bat. Bat is his strength. Of course, he has his gloves, pads, helmet, and all other equipments also. But batsman is called a batsman because he carries the bat. Bat is his strength. So, what is the strength with which an individual enters this game of life? It is his buddhi. Batsman is the individual and the bat is the intellect. The only strength that we carry as individuals, as human beings, is our intellect. Every creature has its own strength. But what is the strength that we have? If you want to survive as a human being, you need to have a sharp and powerful intellect. Intellect is not intelligence. Intellect is the capacity to think originally, to control your emotions, to guide it properly, to take proper decisions in the world. That is the intellect. We are all born with it, but we need to put in effort to develop it by ourselves. It doesn't come by school education. That is the bat. Then, what is the ball? Ball is nothing but your own uncontrolled mind. The game is alive because the ball is bold. So, ball is invisible. See, from a stadium, when you are sitting, you can see a football which is big, but not a cricket ball, which is very small. You need a binoculars. That ball which is invisible causes all the problem for the batsman. Mind is invisible. It is very subtle. It is very small, as it were. But it causes all the problems for us. The ball is sometimes spinning, sometimes swinging, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes bouncing. Exactly like that, this unpredictable nature of our own mind. Sometimes it's pleading to you, sometimes it's bossing over you, sometimes it's fast paced, sometimes it's lazy. Very difficult to control by itself. And not only that, in traditional Vedantic language, we see that generally the sixfold modifications of the mind: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Desire, anger, greed, jealousy, arrogance, delusion. And you can include other fear and other emotions also. Basically, the six are given together. It corresponds to the 6 deliveries in an over, 6 balls in over. It is this mind that is wanting to get you out, as it were. That means it brings about your own downfall. Your downfall is not caused by something external to you, but by your own uncontrolled mind. That's why mind is designated as Satan or Shaitan or Asura. It is the force that is within you which is causing your downfall. That is the ball. What are the stumps? Stumps is that which is defining your personality as a batsman. The 3 gunas that we have. We may not have time to go into detail now, but the 3 gunas represent the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, which is common for all individuals, all human beings. The stumps represent the 3 gunas. What are the bails? Bails is the prana. The umpire brings and places the bail on the stump, and that is when the game gets life. So what is that which is giving the life? Is the bails. And if the bails fall up, the batsman is out. So bails represent the prana or the life force. Batsman is supposed to score runs. The runs represent your spiritual evolution. The more runs you score, the more you succeed, the more you grow. And then you keep on collecting it. Even after your next match, next innings, you come and collect more and more. Like that, Janma after Janma, we need to collect this, your evolution in the form of your thought towards the self has to be more powerful. Your reduction of desires, this is enhanced with your spiritual evolution, your gathering of punyas, you can say, in that sense. more towards the path of self-development. That is the runs that you gather. That's what a batsman is supposed to do. And who is the runner? Runner is the only friend that you have in the field. All other are hostile forces there. The runner is the satsang. Even in the worst of the Kali Yuga, you may say, whatever is the state of our world now, society, there is always availability of satsang. Good people who are focused towards higher aspects of life. And it is that holy company that we need to connect with. In that company, our growth is faster. It is with the help of the runner that the batsman should first get himself settled and start playing shots freely. An intellect grows in a proper conducive environment, and that is satsang. So first he needs to patiently see the ball, he needs to defend, and he needs to get his eye in and take singles, and that is where runner is helping him before he can play his shots very freely. So who is the only friend that we have in this world is the satsang. What is the crease? Crease is the spiritual discipline which you mark for yourself. Of course, in cricket it is marked, but it's a discipline which you should not cross. If you cross, you are in danger. Like the Lakshman Rekha, the proverbial Lakshman Rekha that Lakshmana drew for Ma Sita, which she should not have crossed, let us say. If you cross, you are caught. You are out. That is the crease, the spiritual discipline. And who are these 10 fielders? They are nothing but the 10 sense objects corresponding to the 10 senses that are there in the world. Always ready to trap you. Always ready to catch you. Always ready to make you out. These are the fielders. Then comes the main person. Who is this umpire? Umpire represents the self, the Atma, the God principle, whatever you want to call it. That is why the umpire wears a black pant. All others are wearing white, right? I am talking about in the traditional cricket. He is different. Who is he? This umpire is a neutral witness. The umpire doesn't participate in the game. Sorry. The umpire doesn't participate in the game. But without him, the game will not happen. When does the game begin? That means, for all practical purposes, you can say the umpire is always in the field because he is the first one to come and he is the last one to go. So that means, as far as the game of cricket is concerned, the umpire is always there in the field. But does he play? He doesn't play. Who is he then? He is a neutral witness to the game. But is he a mere witness alone? No. He knows all the rules of the game. Then he conducts the game. Yes. Without umpire signal, no run can be scored. Without umpire sanction, the batsman cannot be given out. Yet, the umpire is not happy if a batsman scores a boundary. He is not sad when the batsman gets out. He has to give whatever is supposed to be given to him. That's why Ishvara is designated as Karma Paladata. He gives you the fruit of action, but he is not very happy or sad or anything about it. Neutral witness. And yet, he wants the game to go on. It is not that I have full control, let the game not happen. No. The umpire makes sure that the game happens. The game happens. And he makes sure that the rules are followed. He punishes those players who don't follow the rules also. And he gives runs to those who score runs. He gives out to when a batsman commits a mistake. All that he does but as a disinterested witness. And that is what? That is the Atma in you. The self in you has no desire to do anything nor avoid doing anything. Yet without it, no, this finger cannot move like this. Each and every activity is backed by it. And all the fruits of your action are given to you by some mysterious force that is that. Yet it is not directly responsible for your actions. You are responsible for your action. The batsman is responsible, not the umpire. But with his help only the scoreboard will tick higher or lower, whatever. Not lower, but it'll go on like that. That is umpire. What is the boundary? The boundary defines the terrestrial perfection. As it were, it is the end of the world. So the more you score runs, boundaries, the more is your evolution. That means the more your thought goes towards the higher, the more it goes towards the self, your evolution is faster. As I said, initially, we need to do a lot of karma yoga, take singles and 2 runs, etc. Then you become very easy and the spiritual sadhana becomes easier. So effortless actions will happen. That means you can use the pace of the ball and direct it properly. The same mind which was troubling you, it becomes easy now. You can hit boundaries faster. Ultimately, what is this pavilion? You can say it is like heaven or hell, which is after you get out, you go there. Let us say for a batsman who has scored a century, the pavilion is a heaven. For one who has scored a duck, it is a hell. And then what will happen? Next match will come in again. It is like that. So these are imaginary worlds where you are supposed to exhaust whatever you have gained here according to the karma that you have performed here. Now, very interesting. What are the methods of getting out? There are about 9 methods, but majorly these are the common methods that a batsman gets out. First is he is bowled. What is bowled? The ball that is coming in eludes the grasp of the bat and it hits the stumps. Exactly like that. If the mind eludes the control of the intellect and gets attached to any of the gunas, it brings about your downfall. So rajas and tamas, but even sattvic guna, as long as the attachment of the mind is there, it is causing you downfall. So bold refers to the clinging attachment of the mind. In any of the object, in any of the experiences, your attachment is going to cause the downfall. And what is the most common method of getting out? It's caught. As we said, the 10 fielders, they are ready. If the ball is not directed properly by the bat, it loops and then fielders are ready to catch the ball. You have to direct the mind properly into the activities, into the world. If you misdirect the mind, these sense objects are ready to trap you. See, in Viveka Chudamani, Adi Shankara Acharya talks about the weakness of a sight for a moth, that it is attracted by fire, the weakness of a sound for a deer, that it is attracted by the sound and it gets shot, and the fish has the weakness for taste. It gets caught in an angle of the fisherman. The elephant has a weakness for skin. It gets caught in the mating season when it's running helter-skelter. And then the bee, which has a weakness for smell, it gets trapped in a flower. And he says, oh, human, you have got all these weaknesses. So a mind which is not directed properly will get into any of the sense enjoyments indiscriminately. Then you are caught. Then what is run out? You need to contact the world. You cannot keep on sitting in the puja room and doing chanting prayers all through the day. You are not of that caliber. You have desires. You need to contact the world, do work in the world. But when you do work in the world, make sure that you come back to your spiritual discipline as quickly as possible. So you need to take runs. You have to leave the crease. But if you are not in time, then the world doesn't waste time to get you out. You will be again caught. So not getting involved in the worldly activities and work with the idea of getting back to spiritual discipline must be the way. Otherwise, we are run out. What about LBW? LBW is very nice and peculiar in cricket, right? The ball that is coming to the stumps must be played properly with the bat. But you are afraid if you keep the bat that it will be misdirected. So for that reason, what do? You stand in front of the stumps. That is not allowed. You are judged out LBW, leg before wicket, right? So you cannot, in the name of spirituality, be afraid that my mind will be getting caught in the senses. Therefore, I will never contact the world. I will keep myself completely aloof from it. That is not the way to deal with the world, deal with the senses. You need to have a control over them, be a master of them. You cannot say that you are afraid of it and get under it and try to avoid it completely. So self-control is not self-denial. Self-denial is more dangerous. You will be frustrated. Many people in the name of spirituality, they become caricatures because they understand this concept of self-control wrongly. It ultimately comes to self-denial and they are extremely frustrated in life in the name of religion and spirituality. That is LBW. What about stumped? As you become more confident, you can now get out of the crease also, but you must be able to meet the ball in its place. But if you become overconfident and you do not meet the ball in its place, then you are stumped out. Exactly like that. I can take care of it. Now I am evolved. I can take care of my mind. You don't take that chance. But if you take the chance, you have to be extremely powerful, extremely careful. Otherwise, you are out of your crease and you are stumped out. And lastly, hit wicket. What is hit wicket? Hit wicket is peculiar in the sense you don't need the help of the ball here. The batsman himself hits the wicket. What does it represent? It represents your intellectual arrogance, nothing else. Particularly those who are in the line of Vedanta, Neo-Vedantans, all of us, when we study this, it should go hand in hand with bhakti, humility and surrender. Otherwise, what happens? To pull us down. So you see that in all ways, in every means, cricket has a parallel to life. Now, what must be our spirit? The spirit must be that I need to play my game to the best of my ability. Swami Ramatita says every work you do also must be in the sportsman spirit, in the sense that you see Rafael Nadal or Federer running for every point as though their life depends on it. But at the end of it all, you understand it is just a game. Life is just a game. Game between individual and the world. Sometimes you win, sometimes the world wins, but then be a sportsman. Shake hands and say, well played. You can even take a resolution, next time I'll beat you. That's the spirit. But understand it is just a game. Exactly like that. Life need not be taken in all its seriousness at all. The only serious thing that we need to hold on is the thought of the self and our self-realization or self-development. That's the thing. If we keep that as the target, the entire life becomes a game. You need not have special entertainment by seeing a movie or a serial. You open your eyes, everything is a game. We gain that objectivity in life. Yet you play hard to win. That is the spirit of a sportsman. That is the spirit of a game. So we need to play the game in the sportsman spirit. Similarly, we need to play the game of life in the same sportsman spirit. In the Mecca of cricket, Lords, there is a sculpted words which says, play up, play up, play the game. Play up, play up, play the game. This is a quote from a poem which we will not read in full now, but I'll just read out the first stanza only. It's a poem, a small poem only, titled Vitai Lampada. Vitai Lampada means the torch of life. This poem was written to inspire the English soldiers who were fighting in the First World War in 1912. I think Sir Henry Newbolt is the author. And that is where this line comes, exactly taken from a game of cricket. He says, there is a breathless hush in the close tonight, 10 to make and the match to win, a bumping pitch and a blinding light, an hour to play and the last man in. And it's not for the sake of a ribbon coat or the selfish hope of a season's fame, but his captain's hand on his shoulder smote, play up, and play the game. Sir Henry Newbold. So he is describing the game. That last man is going in. I mean, 9 wickets have fallen, and the pitch is very deadly to bat, and the light is fading. And at that time, the captain puts the hand on the last batsman. He says, "Just play up, play the game." That must be our attitude to life. Thank you very much. Namo Paramashivya.
Thank you, Ramaswamy, for that insightful talk on the importance of physical well-being. A strong body will have a strong mind, and how to use the body as a vehicle to gain self-knowledge, with very good example from cricket as a sport. And the aspects in terms of cricket and its comparison was a very new way of looking at the game. I'm sure viewers enjoyed the talk. Thank you so much. And thank you, viewers, for your participation. Please join us for tomorrow's morning session as well as from 7 to 8. Can we have the flyer? The topic for tomorrow's morning session is Bhagavadpadacharya Bhashya by Shatavadani Lalita Aditya Ganavaram. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaskara to all.